Greetings, Warriors, back with another episode of Bigger Warriors 2, and welcome to the 1% Club. Thanks again for the comments and subscriptions and donations and things you're sending me. I'm hoping that this is, helping out you guys and doing things that kind of open up ideas and things you may think about. And I run across articles and get comments and suggestions all the time and trying to get different ideas put into play and see if you guys can kind of benefit from those, and that's kind of what I'm doing. So once again, go ahead and subscribe, like, comment, donate if you get a chance, and we'll continue with this. So this was a great question from one of our viewers and if I get the name wrong, please forgive me. I will do the best I can with it. Vaibhov Kothari. So Vaibhov Kothari. So thank you very much for the question. And he's talking about the fact that he's involved in technology, different things. He sees screens all day long, and it's very difficult to kind of get away from the imaging of that. And then there's times where boredom kind of sets in. So let's talk about that a little bit. This idea of boredom, to my mind, is dangerous. And it is very common, and I had this issue for many, many years, and that I found myself when I just kind of thought to myself, well, what happens when you end up, relapsing and going through these type of stages? What ends up happening in your brain? Why are you doing this? And I kind of figured out that about 95% of the time, I did it because I was just bored. I needed to get some excitement, right? And this is the way that we tend to do things, right? We look for things to create excitement, whether they're good or bad for us. We tend to create excitement that way. And that's because we're bored. I always look to the idea about these energy suckers, the vampires, the succubuses. They come after you because they're bored. Look at the idea of drama, for instance, having drama in your life. Now, people create drama, sometimes intentionally, sometimes unintentionally. But the whole idea is that they're creating drama because they're bored. And this is the thing that you have to be careful of when you're on your journey. This is what ends up happening is you'll end up finding temptation around you because you're bored and you want some excitement. So how do you do that within your job? And how do you do that outside your job? That's the important thing. So guys, on your journey, your plan, in my opinion, you have to stay away from those temptations that are going to get you back to relapsing. So that's why you cannot fill up your time with images and people who are just going to kind of be physical, kind of objects to you. You have to kind of find things that are going to keep you occupied. Now, on your job, it's not as easy, obviously, because you have to kind of look at screens, you have to kind of do stuff, and so you may end up getting bored. Two suggestions. One is to try to find something within that job that gets you interested and not just kind of, not away from your actual job responsibilities, but something that can add to it to make it exciting, right? I remember I had a job, bad job at one time when I was younger. I was cleaning out bathrooms, right? I was trying to clean out toilets and all that just to make some extra money. And I tried to better myself. Each time I did it, I tried to better myself to see how fast I could do it, right? The same thing with these little tricks you can play with yourself as you're on a job. Try to get yourself to the point where you're more excited about doing that job. And even though you're looking at screens, there's got to be some other type of motivation you can give to yourself to actually partly and do this. So the motivation on your job is going to be to try to do better and better at it. Even though it may be something you're bored with at the time being, find something you can kind of do, some kind of even trick of the mind that you have to go ahead and make that exciting so that you are looking at this in a whole different perspective, okay? And that's the kind of key to that. Now, when it's outside your job, now you're focusing on trying to find things to keep you preoccupied, at least for a while. Now, I would say it takes a while to get to the mentality. Now, at 503 days that I'm at now, It's a different type of mentality I have now. Now I have a lot of things because I've kind of built that over time. But if you're within 30 days, 50 days, 70 days, you still have a lot of traces of those old behaviors in your mind. And on monk mode, I'm only at 28 days myself. So I've still got a lot of those type of ideas I'm trying to get rid of. The best thing I can suggest with that, my friend, is to try to occupy your time, at least at the beginning like this, until you can get a handle of these type of things. So now you can go ahead and kind of choose how to use your time more effectively. It's really a matter of using time effectively, trying to find things that can actually help you and make you a better person. Those are the key things to kind of look at, because boredom itself creates a lot of problems. Kids that are bored, they go off doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Sometimes they get attention, but they're just bored. They want some excitement. And guys, even though it's negative, whether it's positive, negative excitement, doesn't matter. They're getting excitement. And this is the thing we look at when we look at imaging and having one-night stands and body card. It's all because people become bored. They get bored in relationships. They get bored with things they watch. They need excitement, stimulation. All those things are things that people need. And what happens if you don't get that through things you're doing, then you try to find that through things around you. And that's when you create all these kind of problems that we talk about. A bored person is a dangerous person, okay? Not only for yourself, which obviously happens a lot, but also from other people. Because that person is going to try to get validation and attention. That's why in relationships, guys, especially if you're a male and the female wants a lot of validation, you got to say to yourself, is this really what I'm looking for, right? Because that validation is going to continue. The drama is going to continue because that person, that's the way they look at it. If they're bored, they're going to attempt to try to kind of get you involved in some sort of drama. Now, am I saying that people start fights on purpose? I am, even though they may not recognize it. A lot of people will start fights, instigate type of things because they just can't help it. They need some excitement. And if the drama goes up or something happens, they're living in a world of drama all the time. They feel like there's some purpose going on. Now, what can you do about that? Well, you got to switch it around, guys. You got to have a real purpose. You got to say, I'm going to try to make money this way. I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to try to create this. Use that creative mechanism that Napoleon Hill's talking about. Use that transmutation to focus on making things, developing things. I don't care if it's building a house. I don't care if it's building a tech plan. I don't care if it's creating a computer or a program or a hobby. Do something with what you have, because that's going to get your mind totally off of boredom. I mean, I'm at the point now where I'm never bored. In fact, I just don't have enough time to do everything that I want to do. But that's taken many years. Remember, I'm 60 years old, guys. I have a lot of experience up and down with boredom. So you want to make sure that you control boredom the same way you control other things. But get yourself busy, because there's times we all get to the point where we're sitting there bored. Even if I'm waiting for somebody, I'll do a video or something like this. Or we'll do something to try to keep my mind stimulated in things to avoid thinking about these other negative things you don't want to think about. And so boredom becomes dangerous. But the good news, and thank you, Vaibhov, for this question. I appreciate that. And I'm going to try to get this name right again. It's Vaibhov Kothari. So thanks again for that question. I appreciate it. And the idea is that you really want to focus on not being bored. You want to focus on keeping your time and focusing on your goals and continuing to move ahead. Don't let those distractions get to you because you're bored. And if other people are bored, you need to kind of move past that and maybe just move away from them and just go ahead and continue with your goals and be on your purpose. And your purpose, again, is obviously to be the best person you can be, and to do that through your physical, mental, and spiritual way. Okay? So I hope I answered it. Once I'll say it one more time via Vaibhov Kothari. And I appreciate your comments. And please, any kind of questions, things you guys have, I'm happy to answer questions and help you guys the best way I can. So I hope to help. Until next time, battle on.